Where do I start with that game? Where do I start? There was so much happened in that game. I don't know where to start. No wins in the last 5 Premier League games for Chelsea as they draw 2-2 with Bournemouth. But where do I start with that game? I don't know whether to start first half, second half, Enzo, Maresca, Chelsea individual players. I just don't know where to start. So we're just going to get stuck into it all. And I want to give you my general thoughts and then we'll talk about some individual performances. First, if you are new around here, make sure you hit the like button, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on another episode. And also I have started a new Twitter channel, so make sure you go and subscribe. It's at Antonio Mango 08. I'll repeat that one more time, at Antonio Mango 08. But yeah, where do I start with that game? Because there's so much to digest, there's so much to dissect, there's so much talking points from that game. I thought Chelsea were absolutely spectacular the first half. Chelsea showed us the good, the bad, and the ugly. Nicolas Jackson showed us he's good, he's bad, and he's ugly. We're going to get stuck into it all, but that first half I thought Chelsea were exceptional. I haven't seen any team dominate Bournemouth the way Chelsea did that first half. They were fluid, decisive, brave, structurally solid. They were winning the individual duels and they cut Bournemouth apart. And structurally, the way the setup was absolutely perfect. Moses Caicedo inverting into midfield alongside Romeo Lavia. That gave Enzo Fernandez the license to dictate play, and I thought he was running the show in the first half. He was making the right decisions in possession. He was finding pockets of space just to break up Bournemouth structure. So intelligent play from Enzo Fernandez in the first half. But all the good that we've seen about Chelsea was on display in the first half, and I thought they scored a well-worked goal. It all came from Nicolas Jackson. This is the good of Nicolas Jackson. This is what Nicolas Jackson brings to Chelsea Football Club. In my match preview, I said, don't care if Nicolas Jackson scores. Now I probably take that comment back. But what I was implying is I want to see what he brings to the squad. I want him seeing impact in games. And I thought he was brilliant for the opening goal for Chelsea. His movement was good. His hold of play was good. His vision was good. His weight of pass was released at the right time with a perfect amount of weight on it for Cole Palmer. And then Cole Palmer just does what Cole Palmer does. Just cool, calm, composed, a lovely finish into the bottom corner. Chelsea thoroughly deserved their lead. Then at that point, I'm thinking Chelsea look good. They look on it today. And we're carving Bournemouth open for fun. Noni Madueke getting around on the outside, pulling it back for Nicolas Jackson. Yes, Nicolas Jackson should have finished that chance. Those are the crucial moments in games where you've got to deliver. You've got to be ruthless, show your clinicalness. Nicolas Jackson just hasn't shown that so far. But then straight after that, again, we're seeing the brilliance of Nicolas Jackson, picking up the ball at the halfway line, driving towards Bournemouth, opening up a yard of space, unleashing a strike and hitting the post. He was extremely unlucky. And this is what I'm saying. We're seeing the good, the bad, and the ugly from Nicolas Jackson. We're going to talk about his individual performance very shortly. But I thought Romeo Lavia in that first half was exceptional. Press resistant, making the right decisions in possession, breaking up play out of possession. His positional awareness is absolutely exceptional. His receiving awareness is absolutely exceptional. He brings stability to this Chelsea team, and that's why he's a vital cog in everything we do. And we absolutely notice it when he gets injured. And in that first half, Bournemouth didn't have a look in. We stopped. We nullified Bournemouth playing to their strengths. And that's the beauty about that first half. We're capable of putting out performances like that. But we also know we can't do it for 90 minutes. We should have easily been 3-0 up, but those missed chances proved to be costly in the end. And undoubtedly, if there was ever a game of two halves, you've just got to watch this game. This epitomised that saying, a game of two halves. Chelsea had an XG of nearly 2 in the first half. In the second half, they had an XG of just over 0.5. The drop-off from Chelsea performance was absolutely insane, but you need to give Bournemouth credit because they came out on all fronts. They were exceptional in that second half. But again, it showed Chelsea's vulnerabilities, not being able to manage games when there's a momentum shift. And I've been saying this ages. If you look at how much we concede, it's absolutely insane. Our ability to keep a clean sheet in the second half is non-existent. Even when we're goals ahead, you think of Wolves, we'll put 6 past Wolves, still conceded 3. We'll put 4 past Tottenham, still conceded 3. We'll put 2 past Leicester, we're still conceded. We'll put 5 past Southampton, we're still conceded. We can't keep a clean sheet. And I've said this for ages. What worries me about Enzo Maresca's structure is the space we leave. In simplistic terms, he wants to attack with 5, defend with 5, but that gap in the middle, we're getting exposed. And this is why I speak about the importance of Romeo Lavia, because he closes that gap. He offers stability in transition moments, and it was evident against Bournemouth. That first half, Bournemouth just couldn't find any rhythm for Bournemouth to play into. As soon as Romeo Lavia comes off the pitch, Bournemouth start dominating the game. And I understand why Enzo Maresca probably did it, because Romeo Lavia was on a yellow card. He just made a mistake, but boy, he had to keep Romeo Lavia on that pitch. Now we're moving on to my general thoughts about Chelsea. As I mentioned earlier, we're seeing the good, the bad, and the ugly of Nicolas Jackson. His movement is absolutely exceptional. His link-up play is exceptional, but he's got no decisiveness or clinicalness or level of execution in the penalty area. Do you know every single goal scorer has that fuck you type of attitude? Like, no matter what you do, I'm going to bulldoze you and make sure I get a strike off. Not only a strike, a clean strike. I'm going to make sure I hit that target. I'm going to be angry enough to bulldoze any defender out of the way, make sure I have an execution. The best goal scorers have all had this. Didier Drogba, Diego Costa, Harry Kane, Lewandowski, Karim Benzema, and even if you go back in time, Thierry Henry had it, Alan Shearer had it. They had that ruthlessness, that angriness, that aggression, just to get on the end of chances, that hunger to strike a ball, but make sure it's almost unstoppable. And when I watch Nicolas Jackson, it's all flippy flappy. I don't like flippy flappy. I want decisiveness. If you miss a target, but you've got an elite ball striking ability, I don't mind that. And if I'm Enzo Maresca and I'm a Chelsea coach right now, I would be working for hours on end just on Nicolas Jackson inside the penalty area. Put crossing, over and over and over again, and just get him that repetition of just striking a ball, of being innovative, using improvised finishes. And as soon as he gets that repetition, it's just going to come second nature to him. Couldn't open us up. There was no space or room. We don't need to work on his movement, his link-up play, because we know he's good with that. For the next 2 weeks, just stand him inside the penalty area during training sessions and just fire crosses in at him. And I want to talk about Romeo Lavia because I've seen a lot of people blame him for that mistake. Yes, he made a mistake. Do I mind it? Absolutely not, because I would rather a player show for a ball 100 times, make 50 mistakes, than not show for the ball at all. And the amount of times he's opened up the first stage of attacking sequences for us is unbelievable. The amount of times he's got his goalkeeper out of danger from making the wrong choice is unbelievable. He's press resistant, he's composed under pressure. His ability to start attacks is exceptional, but his ability to break up attacks is elite as well. So I'm not going to sit here and criticize him for the mistake, but I thought we've got to rely on Captain Fantastic, Reece James, to have a big moment to get us out of trouble, to spare Chelsea's blushes. Reece James, I can't get over just how good this guy can be. If he can stay fit, he is an elite talent, an elite player. It's just such a shame he's had so many injuries, because every time he steps on that football pitch, he's shown his class. But then we'll talk about Chelsea as a whole, right? If you look at their average positioning against Bournemouth, it's extremely top heavy. And this is what I'm talking about. The gap that we leave, the space that we leave for the opponents to exploit is incredible. And that space is congested with Romeo Lavia in the side. So when he came off, we completely fell apart. We lost our structure, we lost any stability, and we don't do well when there's a momentum shift in the game. Chelsea don't do well against adversity, and that just speaks volumes for the naivety, immaturity of this side. We all know technically these players are absolutely excellent, but it's their ability to manage games in and out of possession that they can't do. Let's talk about in possession for a second. When you watch Chelsea, everything's 100 miles an hour. We need to get the ball forward as quickly as possible. There's a saying in football called get a pass. What that means is just slow the game down, dictate the tempo of the game, just pass it between your centre backs or into midfield, just slow the game down, get a pass. If you play football, you'll know this terminology because I used to use it. Get a pass just means take the sting out of the game. Let's take control of this game. Let's not have the opposition gathering any momentum. And Chelsea don't do this at all. We do it when Romeo Lavia is on the side because he's excellent at it. Just making those passes that you might not think mean anything, but are so impactful. And I'm not saying just play the ball around your back five and be passive for the whole 90 minutes of the game. I'm just saying in moments of the game when you know you're getting overran or the opposition is starting to gain momentum, just get a hold of the ball. You don't want to open up like a basketball game. And that's what Chelsea are doing. We need to learn to structurally keep possession and take the sting out of the game. And that's the same when you're out of possession as well. 18 teams out of 20 teams in the Premier League are going to have the moments in games, are going to cause you problems at times. So during those moments, what I would be saying saying Enzo Fernandez is drop in five, let's be compact just for the next 10 minutes and see this wave out. But again, Chelsea are just piling bodies forward. There's no structure. So we just need to be a bit more clever in the way we manage games out of possession. And that leads us nicely on to my third and final point. Enzo Maresca has lost his game management ability. He's lost those instincts. And this is what makes us think he doesn't trust his whole squad. A blind man could have seen that Chelsea were much different in that second half to what they were in the first half. Blind man could have seen that we were getting overrun. We couldn't get control of the game. We couldn't find any rhythm in the game at all. But yet he leaves it to the 80th minute to make any substitution. I know he brought on Tosun for a Chempong. I thought Chempong had a good game, to be fair. But we were offering nothing going forward. Where was João Felix? Where was Pedro Neto? Giving them 10 minutes is not enough to impact a game. At the beginning of the season, Enzo Maresca surprised everybody with his in-game management. He's kind of lost that since the Tottenham game. The Tottenham game was the last time I seen him do it. And it goes to show because we've lost pretty much every other game since. I refuse to believe he's trying to send a message to the board that his team's not good enough or strong enough or mature enough. I refuse to believe that because nobody in their right mind would sacrifice points for that. But he just needs to get back to his instincts, be a bit more brave with your substitutions. Because at the moment, instead of Chelsea looking in front of them and seeing who we can catch, we're starting to look behind with, seeing who can catch us. And if this continues, top 4, maybe even top 5 might not be a reality. But look, I don't want to blame referees, but we've got to talk about that Marc Cucurella and Brooks incident. And for me, it's a sending off. It's quite ironic because I've always said that when a referee goes to watch and view the monitor, he should be allowed to make his own decision, whether he thinks it's a red card or a yellow card. Every other time he's changed his mind and give a red card, but this time. So it's quite ironic because I want the referee to make decisions despite reviewing the monitor or whatever people in the VAR room tell him. I want the referee to make his own decision. And that's what I've been saying, but just not in this moment because it was clearly a sending off. And we as Chelsea fans can feel hard done by for that. And just before we go, I want to give you my final thoughts on Bournemouth because I think Bournemouth have built an exceptional team for having such a small budget compared to others. Semenyo is absolutely exceptional and he's been a breath of fresh air this season. His pace, power, athleticism. He's still a little bit raw, but he's shown crystal clear signs. Good link-up play, clever movement. Teams like Man United, Arsenal could all do with a Semenyo on their team. And I want to give a shout out to Justin Kluivert because he's been around the blocks in terms of trying to find a team where he can settle. And it looks like he's finally settled at Bournemouth. He's always had ability. And I thought he caused Chelsea a lot of problems when he come on the pitch, utilising the space between the midfield and defence. He's such a clever and creative player. Then you come on to Bournemouth's 2 centre-backs who offer great balance. You've got the creativity, the playing out from the back, but also the athleticism of Dean Huijsen. And then you've got sort of that robustness, the tough tackling of Zabareni. So Bournemouth have actually built a very good squad, and I knew this game was going to be tough. But when you look back at the first half in comparison to the second half, there's something not right. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts. Let me know in the comments below what you made of that game. I know you're all frustrated, so I want to hear about it. Let us know in the comments below. But until next time, appreciate you watching. Thank you very much.